Podcast called Living the Stream comes to you each week. Streaming recommendations during NFL season, it's not just tongue and cheek. Quarterback, defense, tight end recommendations based on opposition matchup. Here are your podcast hosts, JJ Zacharyson and Danny Carter, living the stream.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Living the Stream. I'm JJ Zacharyson, the late round quarterback, and as always, I am joined by my lovely co-host, Denny Carter. Denny, what's going on, buddy?
It's No Hat Wednesday here at Living the Stream. Last week, we told you that we would be wearing hats every single Wednesday from here on out. Today, we are hatless, but I hear that JJ has a story. It's story time to begin Living the Stream. Tell us your story.
I have a story. I think it's fun, and it's something that only can be talked about like on this kind of show.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Right?
Okay.
Like it would. I could never talk about this on the Late Round podcast because people would say, "Why are you talking about this? Just give me your takes. Just be a robot and don't talk about life."
We want to know about Dylan Sampson's route participation.
That's right. That's right. And so, by the way, Jerome Ford probably a decent deep sleeper this week because of the game script, and he's been running routes and all that kind of stuff.
God, yes.
Jerome Ford is like a 0 attempt 7 target player.
I know, no, legit. He could get 0 carries this week and still score like 10 PPR points.
Right. All right. So here's the story. So, and this happened, I think, like right after, like the evening after we recorded this. So Wednesday last week. So there, I live in Davidson, North Carolina. It's a nice little town. You guys can Google it and look at a picture of the downtown area. It's like a very quaint, like very stereotypical, cute downtown, all that kind of stuff, right? This is where Steph Curry went to college. And and so I've lived here now for about 4 years. It's great. We love it. We've really immersed ourselves in the community and stuff like that. And downtown, in the downtown area, yes, as David says in chat, home of the Davidson Wildcats. The downtown area has a bunch of cute shops and stuff, like mom and pops type stuff. But then there's a Ben and Jerry's in the middle of the downtown area. Okay. And the Ben and Jerry's recently added a bench to one of the common areas in the downtown area. Okay. So there's a farmer's market every Saturday. We're basically there every Saturday. If you guys are in the Charlotte area, you want to meet up with me and my family, you could probably see us at the farmer's market in Davidson every Saturday morning, like during the summer and fall and in spring. And there's at the entrance of this farmer's market, they put a bench. Ben and Jerry's did, and it's a cow.
Okay.
So it's a cow bench, right? Like it's literally the shape of a cow.
What else would it be?
So my wife, Amanda, finds out that there's a contest for naming the bench.
Okay.
You get to name the bench.
All right. Okay?
And so I didn't know about this until after she and my daughter, Avery, had submitted a name. They each submitted a name for this competition to name this bench. Well, last week, right after the show, Amanda opens Instagram up and she's tagged in a post from the Ben and Jerry's Davidson account that says that she's a finalist.
Oh, okay. For
naming the bench, naming the cow bench. Okay. She had named it Need More Cow Bench. That was her, like an SNL reference, like Need More Cowbell type.
Oh, Need More Cowbell. Okay. I thought it was going with remember the cows for Chick-fil-A said eat more chicken?
Oh no. So no, this was Need More Cow Bench, not Eat More Cow Bench. That would be
funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So hers, I can't remember what Avery's was. Avery was mad that she wasn't a finalist. There were 10 people. There were 10 people who were finalists, right? And so she tells me this, and it's the evening, and I'm doing some work, and I go, okay, well, I'm clearly going to try to win this because that's in my nature to be competitive about really stupid things like fantasy football and winning a cow bench naming competition.
Absolutely.
And so I used my power in the late round fantasy football Discord, and I added everybody, and I said, hey, go, because the competition said you have to, whichever one gets the most likes in our comments wins.
Gee.
And so
you leveraged your audience.
I leveraged the only time I've ever added everybody for something like this on Discord or literally anything that I've really ever done in the fantasy football space. And so this Instagram post had 10 different finalists. And after about, I don't know, 2 hours of it being posted, her Need More Cow bench had about 120 likes. Okay.
All right.
And
All right.
the next closest one had 12.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
So totally rigged.
So we totally rigged it. We got the voting machines involved, and and then she got tagged in another tweet or in another post on Instagram that I thought I had it up, but essentially she won. It's called Need More. It's going to be called Need More Cow Bench. I even told her, I said, whenever I put it on Discord, I said, look, Amanda, if someone is able to do the same thing and get this voted up, I'm going to tweet it. I will tweet this out. Right. And she's completely embarrassed and saying, no, don't do that. And I told people in the Discord that I would do that. And David Kitchen responded and said, in quotes, you do that for me? You know, that's the way that Amanda would have responded. But she ended up getting the W, and we get a free ice cream cake, which I obviously can't eat because I'm dairy free, as the good folks know.
Newly.
Right. And we get like an ice cream date or something like that. Cool. I don't know if there's going to be like a plaque with its name on the bench, but this is in the middle of our town, like downtown area. And it's going to be named after something that Amanda had come up with, and that the Discord, was able to help. And so it's now our bench. It's not just it's not Ben and Jerry's bench or the town of Davidson's bench. This is our bench. Like, we did this, but they sent another post out where it showed that she had won, and it's going to be called Need More Cow Bench. And with that, it said like in the graphic, it was like, thanks to my wife's handles, large following, but it said it's now going to be called.
They don't even know that you went into the voting machines. You rigged it. Yeah. And the other contestants were screaming, "Stop the count!" They were begging you, "Stop the count."
But here's the thing: there were no rules against this.
No. When you had to do.
When you put something on Instagram like that and you say vote and the highest votes win, what else are you to do?
They just happened to they did not know that one of the contestants had a spouse who has a massive, rabid following online and would basically do anything that he asked. So,
yeah. I mean, look, I'm not gonna use that power very often, but I will use it. I will use it when trying to name a cow bench in the middle of my town.
By the way, this is a huge win for millennials, naming this bench after that sketch. So way to go. As a fellow millennial, we won that one pretty easily. So thank you.
And that's the thing. Like, I think the name is actually not bad too. Like, it's a fun little name for a bench, right? Need More Cow Bench. Like, it's a great name. So I think that she did a good job. Like, if she had a really crappy name, I wouldn't have gone the distance for this. You know,
I was gonna say, it's great that your wife came up with a fantastic name, because if she was just like cow bench, you would feel bad about leveraging your online presence, but now you don't. Now you feel fine about rigging the election.
That's right. But that's my story. I needed to share with people who would appreciate what went down and appreciate. Look, man, the community was the late round community was great throughout, not only in voting, but just the commentary and stuff with it. It was a very fun evening, just reading all the comments and seeing how ridiculous the whole thing is. Insane. It's ridiculous. And it's like, imagine going to your like downtown area and there being a bench like that right in the middle of it, and you knowing that you played a role in naming that bench.
Yes. I mean, when that bench is there 250 years from now,
right, post-apocalypse,
they will remember. The Discord came through on this one.
When the cockroaches and robots are roaming the streets of Davidson in 300 years.
Yeah, right.
That will still be there. And they'll say, wow, whoever came up with this name, they must have done something crazy to get this as the name.
That is actually plausible at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probable. At this point. All right, let's look at what happened in week number 3, Denny. Overall, could have been worse, could have been better. We definitely bounced back a little bit with the quarterback stuff. We did add Marcus Mariota to the list, thankfully, when we found out that Jaden Daniels was out. So he ended up scoring 20 points, 20.3. Geno Smith had 26.1. Geno, just the most unpredictable performer of all time.
So annoying.
He's so annoying. Sam Darnold, 16.7. Aaron Rodgers, I thought was going to be better. He was 11.7. I think he could have been like there were opportunities for him to be better in that game.
Yeah.
And then Michael Penix, like just bad.
Bro,
like
I feel like it's over.
Like it's already over for Penix, do you think?
I mean, did you see okay, I'm not a film guy by any means, but I can't help but notice that the guy's footwork is worse than anything I've ever seen in my life. Like his feet are like facing the wrong direction sometimes when he throws. I have no idea what he's doing. I mean, Raheem Morris had to come out today, Wednesday, and say we're not benching him. Like we're not starting Kirk Cousins. Like that's real bad that he had.
I was thinking, like, is that going to happen this year? Like they could have. They could have gotten something out of Cousins, obviously from a trade perspective, and they've held him. And I am now thinking they feel good about holding him.
Right. So we have a commenter who says, I dropped, I think he means, this person means dropped Penix for Dart. I think that's the right move.
Yeah, 100%.
I also think Drake London's best outcome here is probably Penix gets benched at some point.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that it's just like I'm trying not to be so crazy and overreactive about two games because the first game was fine enough from like a volume perspective and a moving the ball perspective and all of that. And obviously, I think last week was one because like you look at Minnesota, they won the game, number one. Number two, Minnesota's defense is good. That's why I'm trying not to like overreact to what happened with Cincinnati, even though I thought the people were like, it's so interesting how things like the roller coaster you go on versus like the market, or at least that I go on every year. I think probably because I try not to get too high and too low on guys, but like the market's doing this, going up and down these hills. And they were doing that with like Jake Browning and the Bengals last week, where they're like, no, Browning's, it's not going to be terrible for Bengals players because we've seen Browning be okay in the past and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but it's still not Joe Burrow. And they actually were worse. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have been worse with Jake Browning under center in the past. And then he goes out and he has the performance that he has. And I'm trying to sit here now being like, guys, it's not like Chase Brown is complete dust after playing Minnesota. They have a bad offensive line. We know that. But like the offensive line play is unlikely to sustain this poorly and be this bad the rest of the season. Like it'd be historically bad. And so now it's like you go from being like higher than or like lower than the market to maybe even higher than the market just based on one performance in one game. But you look at the matchup. The matchup was. Is there a worse matchup that the Bengals could have faced last week?
No. The Vikings defense puts quarterbacks in a blender, like no matter who you are.
Yeah.
It was in Minnesota. Of course, Noah Fant fumbles, like I think in the first possession, fumble 6. Somebody else fumbled 6th for the Bengals. Like it was over in the first quarter. And so the Vikings, they could tee off on Browning. It was really a really horrible spot. I'm not giving up on the Bengals offense in general just because of that.
Yeah, I don't want to like just overreact to that one thing. And I think that it's important to just like, I don't know. I try to think of this, the way that I think about like the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season is that if you had these 2 or 3 weeks in the middle of the season, would you be reacting the exact same way? And the answer oftentimes is no.
That's a good way to think of it, yeah.
And it's only because we don't have a backbone of these guys performing in this certain spot. But like the Drake London stuff, for instance, to me is like, but we have a backbone of him being a really good wide receiver. Maybe he's not going to live up to expectation because of the way that Penix is playing, but can we just like relax for a second and stop saying that he's a wide receiver 3 in fantasy?
Yeah, his usage is good.
His usage is fine. And you have to remember that, like, I'm not saying you, of course, but like, you got to remember that like stuff is going to go down in a certain game in a certain way. Like you said with the Bengals last week, like, you mean to tell me that you've never been in a position on a team or at work or something where everything is disastrous and you're like, well, I don't need to really do anything anymore because things are horrible. So why am I really going to go?
Jamar Chase took that very seriously, by the way. I saw a clip of him not blocking at one point in the middle of the field. There was a play in the middle of the field, a reception late in the game. And Jamar Chase actually hopped out of the way and like ran away from the play instead of throwing a block for his teammate.
I
And
mean, look, it's a business decision.
it was a business decision. Also, he clearly is trying to get Zach Taylor fired. Like that was a real bad look.
Yeah. So, I'm just saying, like, I want to, like, would it be shocking if Michael Penix has a decent outing this week and we're like you shouldn't be playing him. Like, he's not one of our streamers, but it's just, this is the ebb and flow of football, like this stuff just happens. And I've never seen a season where more people are overreacting to stuff. It's like in an instant, Amarian Hampton went from being dust to a league winner in a literal instant. Right. And it wasn't simply the Najee Harris injury. He played well last week. Like, he was doing things and they were giving the ball in space and you could see his athletic ability and his burst. And it's just relax. Everyone needs to relax. All right. Quarterback, we had Daniel Jones also 15.8, Dalton Schultz 8.9, Brenton Strange 12.1, Jake Tungus 4.1, Tungus 4.1, Jatavian Sanders 3.1. He got banged up though.
Yeah, he did. He got hurt in the first half, I think.
Yeah. And then defense was really good. Tampa Bay had 14, Indianapolis had 13, Seattle had 14, and Atlanta had 3. So overall, like 3 out of 4 really big hits on defense last week. So
it's good.
We're getting better.
All right. We're improving. Hey, listen, by year 30 of this podcast, we're going to be cooking.
Yeah, there we go. All right, let's move on to week number 4. Denny, why don't you kick things off with a quarterback?
Samuel S. Darnold, the 4th, takes on Arizona on Thursday Night Football. Seattle has a 22.5 point total, which is not bad. I don't really get it. Like, Seattle's only like a 1 point favorite right now, I think. I feel like they should be higher, but Darnold is among the most accurate quarterbacks in the league so far this season when you look at completion rate over expected. Arizona shapes up as a pretty extreme pass funnel, as I pointed out in my Roto World column last week. They're also not really pressuring the quarterback at a high rate of 17% rate, bottom half of the league. So Darnold should be in a good spot. I really actually like Darnold in this spot because I feel like this could be somewhat of a back and forth game, although it's Thursday night, so you never know.
Yeah, I don't know how. I really haven't had a great read on this game, to be honest. So I'm just staying back. I think he's just like a fine play, like nothing special, but nothing. Like, I don't think he's gonna sink your team. You know who I really like this week? I really like Matthew Stafford this week.
I know. Tell me about why, because I like him. Obviously, he's our streamer or main streamer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he would be, but tell me.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the main ones. I mean, I think the other guy that I'll talk about is probably an easier play, but he's been inconsistent. But Stafford, he's faced Philly and Houston so far this year, which are 2 pretty tough matchups.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been very good from that standpoint. They're really good up front, generating pressure, all that stuff. And then he played against Tennessee. He scores 17 points. But this game against Indianapolis is not good at getting to the quarterback. Like, they have a really low pressure rate. I think Stafford's gonna be able to sit in the pocket and hopefully pick apart the defense in the secondary. They have a 26 point implied team total in this game.
Really?
I mean, yeah, like this is a pretty good spot for Stafford in a dome at home. Indianapolis is coming in feeling hot, riding high. I could see the Rams winning this game and Stafford having, a few touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to keep up with Daniel Dimes, and not everybody can do that these days.
Right.
I have Bryce Young against the Patriots. Patriots are bad on defense, although tell me if you have this same number. The Patriots are 5.5 point favorites here.
They're 5.5 point favorites. That's why spoiler alert, they're a defensive streamer for us this week because they're 5.5 point favorites.
Yeah. So I think the Panthers should have to drop back and throw quite a bit, which is what we got over the first 2 weeks of the season for Bryce Young. He has 10 rushing attempts over 3 games. Patriots allow the 5th highest completion rate over expected and the 6th highest adjusted yards per attempt. So not a bad matchup. You could do worse, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I wish I was ready for the great drop for the.
You can do worse.
There we go. Geno Smith, I think is probably. I don't remember who I ranked. I think I ranked Geno higher than Stafford actually this week because I love this game, this Vegas Chicago game. Hopefully, it's a more predictable Geno game. But the Bears have not been good at generating pressure this year, and obviously the Raiders have not been good at stopping that pressure. So that gives him a better matchup up front. 24.5 point implied team total. There's decent pace in this game for both these teams. It could be high scoring, and Chicago's the number 2 team so far in adjusted points allowed to quarterbacks. So, I mean, on paper, it's there for Geno Smith, but we've said that before on the show, and he's not come through. And then when we thought the matchup wasn't as good, he did come through. So we'll see what happens this weekend.
Total garbage time situation.
Total garbage time.
So leave us alone, first of all. And secondly, Geno, please be more predictable. By the way, you have to play Genty against the Bears. You have to.
You have to. Genty will be fine, guys. Can we? He'll be fine. Actually, I was more concerned with Genty of all of the rookies after week 2 because they're not like Zamir White's been running more routes than him and getting more targets than him and stuff, and it's obnoxious. It's ridiculous.
Obnoxious. That's pretty good. All right, ridiculous. On to tight end, right?
Yeah. Although we do have a throw out there of Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart.
Just to throw it out there. I don't think you should be playing him because we have no idea, but I do think you should be rostering him because of the rushing upside and stuff.
I said this with RotoPat on the Roto World Football show the other day, but like, did you see the Sunday night game, the Giants and Chiefs?
Oh yeah, you know that I do a show on this YouTube channel with David Kitchen every Friday, and we do a quad box at the end of the show where we pick our favorite games for like we each pick 2. Kitchen chose the Chiefs Giants game.
Really?
Why would he do that? No one knows. No one still knows. So I need to throw that out there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that one. But I felt like Jackson Dart was like shaking with intensity on the sideline.
Oh, dude, like, he's a psycho.
He's a maniac.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he's a psycho.
All right, so we're gonna get that maniac energy on the field. That might be good.
I think he's gonna be fun though. Like
I think he's gonna be very
legitimately a like Josh Allen potential trajectory. Not to say that that's where it's going to go because that's not what I'm saying, guys. I think archetype wise, just throw your body around.
Wow.
Do whatever it takes. Has some rushing upside, even though he's not necessarily like going to be the most athletic dude on earth.
Guys,
also, he ranked really well in Jim Sonis's quarterback model, by the way.
But I just wanted to be clear. JJ just said that Josh Allen is the floor for Jackson Dart. Oh, okay.
I mean, I hope because I got a lot of Jackson Dart in Dynasty. So,
well, it's going to be interesting. That's what we know. On the tight ends, Tommy T. Tremble. I messed it up. Tremble against New England. I mean, he's going to be out there running like I guess all the routes now that Jatavian Sanders is out. He was only running about 30% of the routes before week 3. That should bump up to like, I don't know, 75 or 80%. You know, he's not good. He doesn't command targets. You don't have any of that going for you, but he's going to be out there. And I think the Panthers are going to pass a lot.
Yeah. I mean, some would say that
you can do worse.
Just barely, but yes.
Just barely. I'm going to go to a player that I think is a really risky play, but we should throw it out there because I think he should be rostered. And I got him for free on a lot of waiver wires this week. Oronde Gadsden. Denny, look.
I know.
He was very legit last week. Here's I'll say the pros and the cons, okay? The pros for Gadsden is that he's a rookie and he already came out and he saw 7 targets, caught 5, had a good performance in his debut with Will Dissly sidelined, right? And so Gadsden, and he was a converted wide receiver in college. His dad played in the NFL.
I know. I love his dad.
Yeah, you probably are in love with his dad. And so well, he was a Miami guy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was Dan Marino's wide receiver 1 for a while.
Yeah, that's the equivalent. Oronde Gadsden to you is like Yancey Thigpen to me.
Oh, you're right. Wow.
Yeah, that's the connection.
I mean, he was big and slow, and the NFL, the announcers always used to point out that the man had the biggest hands like on the field, and he could catch anything. So I did love Oronde. I emailed him once. Did I tell you that?
Oh, wait, so you're making fun of me for saying that you loved Oronde. You emailed Oronde Gadsden.
I emailed him from my AOL account, and I said, Oronde, you dropped a pass in the fourth quarter. You cost us the game. And he wrote back, thanks for being a fan.
Wow.
I was a jerk.
Wow. So yeah, his son is in the NFL. Really good production profile in college. converted wide receiver. So he's purely like a pass catching tight end, which is what we care about in fantasy football. Like we want him to run a lot of routes. He didn't run a lot of routes last week. He ran 14. We saw target on, I mean, if you look at PFF, they say 6, but 7 was my target count by the data source I use. And so he had a 50% targets per route run rate in his NFL debut, you guys. Like that's crazy. The downside is that number one, Will Dissly didn't play. And so who knows what they do if he does play and how they sort things out. I think they just shouldn't go back. I think they should just let Gadsden be their primary pass catching tight end. The other problem, last week they were playing in a pretty favorable passing script because they were trying to come back and like have a neutral script against Denver and stuff. I don't think it's going to happen against the Giants, so I do think that he's way riskier this week because if he's only going to run a portion of their routes or route on a portion of their dropbacks, chances are, I mean, we're not going to see the amount of volume that we saw last week. So he's just a fun player, more of a call out deep sleeper, deep play. But I think he should be rostered in most leagues at this point.
When I covered the Chargers Broncos game for Roto World the other day, and when I came away from the game, I was like, I guess Gaston just ran all the routes, but he didn't. He only ran like 40% of the routes, but he was targeted on every other one.
Yeah, he just kept getting targeted. But like, guys, this is what I'm saying. Like, you can't look at the descriptive data to assume it's similar to how people are looking at like the Washington backfield and how they're like, oh, we got to avoid Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt at all costs because they're splitting that. They clearly want to split back. But guys, it's week 3 and he's a 7th round rookie. You don't think that it could grow? Then he can get more and more work as the season goes on.
No.
The idea is that you get these younger players who can develop into something more and be true every week starters. Gadsden's clearly not there yet, but he's someone that we should be shouting out.
Absolutely. Who do I have? I had Tommy Tremble, Jake Tunges against the Jags. He's running like 65% of the routes, which is, not great. You could do worse, I would say. The Jaguars, as I'm going to point out on my Roto World column this week, are a pass funnel defense. Tight ends are averaging 6 catches and 40 yards per week against Jacksonville. So Tunges is a deep play.
I kind of like Cade Otton this week, and I know that the peripherals don't really like say that he's a screaming play because he only has a 7% target share this season, but he ran a route. He's doing what he did last year where he ran a bunch of routes. He's run a route on 89% of their dropbacks this year. It's not an easy matchup for sure, but we saw last season when they had those wide receiver injuries, he was really, he was a tight end 1 in fantasy consistently for like a chunk of like a month. So I'm intrigued by that. I mean, they're going to be running out Emeka Egbuka. I don't think Chris Godwin's going to go. And if he does, it's going to be pretty limited. Mike Evans is already out. And then it's Sterling Shepard as their wide receiver too. So like there's opportunity for Otton to do something. So he ought to do something this week.
There you go. Heyo. So the only time that you can ever play Otton is when Mike Evans suffers his yearly hamstring.
That's right.
That's it. So now's the time.
This is the time to play Cade Otton. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Defense. I have the who do I have?
We got some. Wait. We have some more. Don't we have some more tight ends?
Oh, we do. Who do we have?
I have Chigakonkwo that I think is fine. 71% route share, 16, 20, 19% target shares. Houston's actually been a top 10 matchup for tight ends and adjusted points allowed this year. And then the other one that we're going to shout out. Has there been an update on Colson Loveland and his injury?
Not that I've seen today. This today being Wednesday, but. Yeah, so Cole Kmet would be the full-time guy, and he's running a good slot route participation, I should say.
Yeah, so you can go Cole Kmet if Colson Loveland's out. All right, let's go to defenses.
Yeah, Rams are a defense, and they're playing against the Colts. I don't know.
I threw this. I shouldn't have had you talk about this one because I'm the one who threw it in our text thread. To mention them. So if you're comfortable about them, that's fine. I think they're a deeper play anyway.
Yeah, I get it. Like just because a game has a high total, which this one does, doesn't mean that the defenses can't come through for fantasy purposes. I mean, we see that a lot where, a high scoring game involves pick sixes, whatever. Yeah, it's still Daniel Jones, right? And he still could collapse under pressure, and the Rams are putting pressure on opposing passers. So that's
my thing is that it doesn't seem sustainable that Daniel Jones's pressure to sack rate ratio right now is by far the best in the league. Like
Right.
to an insane degree right now. When the last time we saw him as a starter, it was quite literally the worst in the league.
Yes.
And so, yes, there's obviously like system, schematic things at play and coaching at play, but it seems like we should be meeting in the middle a little bit more. And the Rams have a really good front. Like they can pressure the quarterback. So I do think that this could be, like I said, I like the Rams offense this week. I think that it's a situation where, who did Indy play week 1 again? Miami. So it's a situation where Indy hasn't really been tested by like a legit quarterback, I mean, say what you want about like Bo Nix, but they haven't really been tested yet. And I'm just curious. This is why I think the Rams are like a volatile play, because I'm just curious as to how that matchup might end up going down if they are in more of a negative script, if they're facing more pressure, how Daniel Jones will react to something like that.
I get that. Yeah. I think the Rams are in play. Would you folks had a question. Would you start the Seahawks over the Rams?
Yes.
I would too.
Because I think the Seahawks are just better or just as good. And then I think the matchup, I just feel a little bit better. Yeah. Patriots, we talked about this process play, 5.5 point home favorites. Carolina only has a 19 point implied team total. New England's been fine in pressure rate this year. I think they, like if you want to look at this more of like a subjective field based side, Carolina coming off a big win, now traveling on the road. Yeah. New England, a really tough loss. I could see New England kind of destroying them defensively this week.
Really? All right. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I can see, I can now understand the vibes based 5.5 point spread.
Yeah. I feel like it's high. I'm like, who are the Patriots to be favored by 5.5 over anybody?
Yeah, it's fair.
But maybe the Panthers are that bad. Am I doing the Commanders? Yes.
I can do Commanders. Okay. I'm a little worried, like I said, that Atlanta just like flips and just is better this week and they figure it out a little bit this week. But this is one of the best pressure rate combos of the week in terms of pressure rate allowed and pressure given, pressure rate given. So Atlanta allows a 31.9% rate according to PFF. Washington generates 37%. Michael Penix has been brutal. So I think that there's definitely a path here where Washington dominates, right? And they're just really, because look at how poorly Atlanta's been playing. But there's also a path here where they're just fine. I just don't think, I don't think that they'll completely ruin you this week, even though they are on the road.
Living this dream, our picks won't completely ruin you.
Yes.
Would you say they have a sack-based floor?
Maybe. Yeah. I think that they could. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So we got the Patriots, Rams, Commanders, Chig, Gadsden, Otten, Tungus, Tremble. What are you laughing at?
I'm
how bad
I'm laughing at myself saying our picks won't completely ruin you.
Cole Kmet, quarterback. You can stash Jackson Dart. I also want to shout out as like a really, really deep play, Carson Wentz. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. Putting it in the universe. The Steelers stink.
Super deep.
The Steelers stink and Jordan Addison's back. But for real, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Matthew Stafford, Bryce Young. Do you think Bryce is a deep play?
I think Bryce is a deep play. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna label that as a deep. Okay. All right. Let's go to questions from various platforms. Denny, you said you had some on our Patreon. Yeah. Do you want to start with that one?
Sure. Let's see. Eric Belair, longtime friend of the show, says, "What's the longest you've kept a piece of clothing in hopes that one day you'll lose enough weight to fit into it again?" And oh my God, did I relate to this one, because I wore a suit to my son's baptism. This is 2013. And so first of all, much younger, 2013, I was 30 years old. Okay. I had been working out like a maniac for like months before that. Not for that day in particular, but just that I was just in a phase where I was just doing a lot of exercise. Right. So I was down, I'm not going to say my weight, but I was down to a weight that I had not been since like high school. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I bought this suit, and I'm telling you, it was the tightest suit I could find. Like, I went to the suit place, and I was like, "Give me the tightest suit you have." Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I look like a Beatle in 1967. Just the craziest, tightest jacket and pants and everything. And I thought, when I was like in my late 30s, I was like, I'm gonna lose enough weight to get back to that to that suit. And at some point, I thought that I did, and I tried to put on the pants, and I couldn't get them above my knees.
Oh my
So good. Oh, so
that's
yeah.
funny. How long have I held on to clothes? I mean, probably honestly not that long. I don't get super attached like that to
No?
and like that's not how I motivate myself to like drop and lose weight. Isn't through clothing. It's through like, like blood work and stuff, like
What?
like biomarkers and making sure my health is good.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
Brian Johnson.
No, I mean that from the perspective of being healthy, not that I'm testing my blood every 2 days.
Oh my god, that's not. I was like, okay, what is he gonna say? Not clothes, but blood.
I meant from the standpoint of being healthy. I just want to be healthy. I don't, the other stuff doesn't. Although I will say, I wore a shirt yesterday that was tighter fitting, and it's not so much that my body has changed dramatically over the last X number of years. It's that as you age, you just feel less comfortable wearing like that tight of shirt, right? Because like
Yeah,
I'm a late 30s dad. I don't
Yeah.
need to wear a tight shirt to pick up my kid at daycare.
you're not going to the club.
Right.
No.
There's just no reason to do that. at
Like
all.
I used to love. I'll be straight with everybody here. I used to love wearing the tightest t-shirts possible. Like I actually like became known as the tight t-shirt guy. Okay.
Wow.
And I could pull it off because I was young and my metabolism was running extremely high, and I could wear those shirts. Even if I could fit into those today, I couldn't bring myself to wear them. There's no way. I would feel kind of ridiculous. So.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Look, that's why I just stick to my Dickies tees. Just stick to the Dickies tees. They're thick and they fit right. It's easy. You don't have to think about anything.
I enjoy this t-shirt, which is a Clash concert t-shirt from 1983. And it is a large, and it fits. It's very roomy. I have lots of room to work.
Yeah. I wear, Dickies also runs big, and it makes you feel better because I wear medium Dickies tees, but because they run big because they're for like workers, right?
Right.
And so then
for
it makes you feel
American
better
work.
that I'm wearing a medium when I usually wear larges, and you feel better that way too.
There you go.
Yeah.
The opposite of that is H&M, which runs small. And so if you try to fit into a medium at H&M, it's a belly shower.
Right.
Anyway.
All right, you got any more from Patreon?
I do. Hold on. Neil Dutton, friend of the show, says, what's more likely to come back? JJ McCarthy to the Vikings as the starter, or my wife?
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
I don't know your no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Neil's obviously joking.
This is clearly JJ McCarthy.
I think it's JJ McCarthy probably is not going to start again unless Carson Wentz gets hurt.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin O'Connell had some very weird comments on Monday.
Yeah.
Where he was like, "We are not." Okay, there are two things. Listen, I'm the guy at the cork board connecting all these dots, right?
Sure.
now,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. You're Charlie Day, and
I'm out of my mind right now, but I'm going to tell you what I've discovered. Tracy Wolfson on the sideline at CBS Sports on Sunday says JJ McCarthy's doing fine. He's not wearing a boot. He says he feels no pain in the ankle. He's fine, but he's not playing. Why? Why is that? Then on Monday, Kevin O'Connell says, look, we're not going to rush him back. We're not going to rush him back. The kid's fine. We're not going to rush him back. We're going to wait till he's 100%, no mobility issues at all. We'll see. Now they're talking about week 7. JJ, they're going to keep pushing back. Maybe week 10, maybe week 13, maybe 2028.
But it's also Carson. They should be trading for Kirk Cousins, but it's also Carson Wentz. Like,
I know.
It's Carson Wentz. He sucks.
But almost anybody can succeed in this offense as the quarterback.
We've seen that. Similarly, we think that anyone can succeed in the Jacksonville offense, and Trevor Lawrence has not been able to succeed there.
Dude,
he's been really bad.
He looks so bad.
He looks bad, but the wideouts have been horrible. Like that whole offense, like conceptually has looked fine, but the players themselves have been horrible. Outside of my boy Bashal Tutin.
Oh, they are horrible. I had a Jaguars fan tell me the other day that everybody needs to lay off Trevor. Leave Trevor alone because he changed his throwing motion this offseason, and he's going to need some time. I'm like, dude, he's in his 5th NFL season.
Yeah.
Right? 5th.
That's the difference between like him and Michael Penix right now, is that at least we have hope of this is Penix. Penix has started 5 games, like let's, we can at least be like, it's not necessarily dust yet, but it's tough to be in on Trevor Lawrence right now. And I liked him as a late round dart throw this year because I thought that there was upside, and everything has just crumbled,
Listen, under peer pressure from my Roto World colleagues, I drafted some best ball teams with Lawrence and Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas. These are dead last best ball teams.
Yeah.
And I don't see any hope for any of it. I mean, Brian Thomas would be fine, I think. But
I think he'll mostly be fine. Yeah.
But wow, that the Jacksonville offense stinks.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. All right, we have a few on Twitter.
Yeah, go ahead.
First one is Steak Knife Ob. Okay, he says, do you take the day off of work when it's your birthday? I personally don't understand why anyone would want to work on their birthday, but others treat it as just another day.
I do not take off work.
Me either. I don't I don't really, we don't podcast during my birthday. Your birthday's in August?
It's late August.
Yeah.
I was actually in Stamford, Connecticut at NBC Sports headquarters on my birthday, and I didn't tell anybody that it was my birthday.
Wow. And then
but then I go into the fantasy football happy hour studio, and the chalkboard says my name on it. And it says happy birthday to Denny. And I thought that was very thoughtful. I guess folks in HR knew it was my birthday, and maybe the message got passed down, but it was very, very nice. And then everybody was, Pat was like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I don't know, man, I'm not 13. And I'd be like, that's my birthday. I mean,
you don't go around saying, hey, hey, how's it going today? Good. It's my birthday.
It's my birthday. Yeah. Like I'm not, I literally don't care. I mean, it's just, to me, look, however you feel about it's fine. It is just another day.
Yeah. I have the goat of birthdays, February 19th.
Why is that the goat?
No, it's just a great day.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
No, I don't really celebrate it though. Like I don't need to, I'll probably do something for my 40th in a couple of years when it comes up, but
you should.
Yeah. We do that. Our group of friends, we do like a trip for everyone's 40th. It's been fun, but I don't know. Amanda's is a month after mine. Her 40th will be. And so,
okay.
So maybe we'll do a duo trip.
I made a playlist, a 40th birthday playlist for mine a couple years ago that everybody hated at the party.
Well, it's your party. You get to do what you want.
I know, including cry, which I did.
That's right. But no, I don't take off work. It's fortunately the off season for me, but I am grinding some prospect stuff that time of year.
No, February is such for me anyway, a bleak time for football stuff. I
am already looking forward to prospect season.
Really?
Oh, it's so fun. I'm like, thank God. Like I had from an analysis standpoint, like iffy-ish, like week 1 and 2, like just something like waiting for Marion Hampton to do something, that kind of stuff. And then like, the Eagles passing attack, not do it. And then week 3, everything just like came together for me. And finally my mental state is in a better place than it was, after weeks 1 and 2. But after week 1, I'm like, just get me to the off season. This
it's over. Pull the cord.
I can't handle not again. I think I said this last week where it's like, I don't mind when things are going wrong or whatever from like a take perspective. I mind the reaction from people being so over the top and just like irrational about things. And I just want to fast forward to the end of the season for them to see that the things that they're being irrational about, they didn't need to be irrational about. That's it. That's what frustrates me.
JJ is begging the football consuming public to be rational. And I think that he's going to lose that battle.
Yeah. I don't really get upset about it. I mostly just really enjoy prospecting season and such.
You've gotten good at it.
It's been that's part of it too, is that like I feel like my process for it has gotten like better and better every year. So it's fun. Baseball tootin', baby. Let's go.
Z score.
Yeah. And so all right, next question. At Johnny F Ball Seed. What age do your children stop making you late for everything? About to be an East Coast dad for the third time in 4 years, and I have to start getting them ready almost an hour before we leave.
Oh my God, JJ, I had a nightmare situation. My niece was baptized last Saturday. We got up. I got the kids up at 7 a.m. I got up at 7. We had to leave the house by 9:45. Okay. So 2 hours and 45 minutes we had. And I said, I don't care. We're getting up. You're eating breakfast. You're showering. You're getting ready. And we're going to be ready to go at 9 o'clock. Okay. We're going to have 45 minutes of free time. We didn't leave the house until 10 o'clock. I couldn't believe it. My mind was blown. And the worst part is I was having to hustle and do some stuff like, for my in-laws and this and that. So I'm outside. It's hot outside. I'm drenched. I'm pouring sweat while I'm in my suit. My hair's getting messed up from the sweat, right?
Sure.
So we leave at 10. We leave late for the church, and I'm sweating. I was not happy.
Are you the in your family, just the four of you, just the direct family? Are you the come on, let's go, dad, or are you calmer than that?
I have turned into that.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think every dad turns into that. My dad was that growing up, but my mom was chronically late for everything. Just never on time for anything. And my sister was the same way. But I'm a very prompt person. Fortunately, Amanda is pretty good at being on time. And we've kind of, done that. Like we're usually, there's not that much pressure when you have two kids. It's not as bad. Look, Johnny F-Ball Seed is becoming an East Coast dad for the third time in 4 years. That's gonna cause some delays.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you're gonna be late to everything for at least another decade.
Right.
So just mentally prepare yourself for that.
Yeah. Next question. This is from it's another Johnny F-Ball Seed. We only have a few because that one was from last week. It says, "What is the most consistent fruit?"
Most consistent?
Yeah. I think that I think I have an answer for this.
Okay.
I think it has to just be a particular apple.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Like to me, you know what apples I've been really into so I went through a Fuji phase and they're super sweet and like a dessert almost. But I have pivoted off of Fuji because they are inconsistent at times. Cosmic Crisp is very, very consistent. I get them at Publix.
Are they pink?
No, they're red. They're not pink. Yeah, they're just red. And it's one of those apples where if you get a little bit of a darker red, they're better, Okay. But they're very crunchy. It's a very crunchy, like you take a bite and you can hear it kind of apple.
That's nice.
And it's good. It's seemingly good all year round. Whereas you don't get that with every apple. You definitely don't get that with every fruit.
I'm going with watermelon.
You think watermelon?
I mean, I don't know the last time I had bad watermelon.
Oh man. We always talk about so two things. Okay. Two things.
I chose wrong.
Yeah, you chose wrong. You definitely chose wrong. We're a big watermelon home. Okay. Kids and I and Amanda, we love some watermelon. We will buy watermelon cut up at the store, or we'll buy it as the actual melon and cut it ourselves. Okay. Right. So we'll do both things. When we buy it cut up already, we're obviously being lazy, but we talk about whether or not we have a good batch or not, because sometimes you get that, like you can get watermelon that has like the white on it and stuff and is still like, it's just not as good. But you know what else you can do? You can take a picture of a watermelon bin, okay, and send it to ChatGPT and it will pick the best watermelon for you.
Oh my gosh. I'm literally never going to do that.
I've done it and it's worked. It works.
I would rather just eat a bad watermelon than have the machine tell me which
the honest answer is probably banana.
Right? Definitely not.
What? But I'm saying, like, you could just go by your own preference on ripeness, right? But all bananas are going to generally taste the same, right? For whatever ripeness you want.
I gotta say, look, I'm sure somebody's gonna have like an easy answer for me, but I usually have to wait like 4 days for the banana to get it to its peak ripeness after I buy it from the store.
Yeah, oftentimes. We go through. Do you guys go through a lot of bananas in your house? We go through.
We go through a dozen a week.
Yeah, right. We might go through 3 dozen a week.
What?
No, probably 2 dozen.
Still?
Yeah, probably 2 dozen. I probably eat 2 a day.
That puts you in like the 1 percentile in the world.
I alone am eating a dozen bananas a week, probably.
Wow.
Probably. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, it's just easy to. It's easy after a workout, and
I
then
didn't know you
later
had a
in the day.
problem. I didn't know.
Yeah, I have a lot of potassium in my body right
Is
now.
anybody gonna have an intervention here? I mean, I
mean, we've
like,
thought about it. We definitely have
Yeah.
thought about it. But yeah, but the nice part about being such a keen banana eater is that I can just grab hold of a bunch of different ripenesses as I go to the store, and then I know that I can get
There
some
you go.
now, and then they can develop, and I will eat them. But bananas are so cheap too. I still don't understand why every banana I can get a dozen bananas for $3. Like they're so cheap.
yeah, right. It's all and then you look around and everything else is more expensive. You know what? The opposite of consistent, raspberries. So my wife is very into raspberries. There are sometimes I will bring home raspberries and they will immediately be bad.
Yeah.
And then other times it's the best fruit I've ever had in my life. So it is a total crapshoot with raspberries. But I didn't know this about watermelon. I feel like every time I buy a watermelon, I'm like, this is a good choice.
No, but you can get bad watermelons.
Okay. All right.
Because some of the summer watermelons are way better than like you're eating watermelon in the winter,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking consistency wise, I'm thinking
throughout
like
the
year
year.
round. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking like forever, like what can you just go to and it's going to always be generally the same.
My father-in-law, I bet you could blindfold him and he could cut up a watermelon within like a minute.
That's a good skill to have.
I mean,
it's a really annoying thing to do.
It's crazy. I mean, you put it like one of those huge knives, kitchen knives in his hand, and he could do it while he's talking to you. I would chop my hand off if I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what else I do? I do a lot of frozen berries as like a like with a little sprinkle a little granola on top, and maybe put some honey on there.
That sounds good. That sounds good. We do have a couple confused listeners in the chat. Someone asking, isn't this a fantasy football live stream? We went on on bananas for 8 minutes. Oh, man.
Sorry, Benny, this show is a little bit different. We talk about fantasy football for about 25 minutes and the rest of it is not fantasy football.
Yeah, people seem to like it.
3 dozen a week, bros swimming in bananas. Yeah, look, 3 dozen was a little bit of an aggressive estimate, but I would say realistically, we eat probably 18 bananas a week in this house.
That's that's an elite tier.
Yeah, we're definitely 99th percentile banana.
I said first percentile. I meant 99.
Yeah, we definitely are. Do we have any more from Patreon?
We have one. Let's see. I'll be traveling. Nope, not that one. Hold on. No, actually, no.
Okay, well, we have another one on Twitter that I think is going to cause a little controversy.
Oh, good. Okay.
And it's a little gross. So the person who is asking for fantasy content, get ready for this next question. At T Schrock 20 says, if you head into the restroom for number 1 and see some number 2 stuck to the inside of the toilet where the water doesn't touch, you make it your goal to spray it off every time with your stream, right? I feel there is no other option.
Wow, this one is really detailed.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can do that in a public restroom. That's not your responsibility. That's not your responsibility to clean in a public restroom.
I feel like you need to do your best to pretend that it's not there and to just do your business. But I do sort of understand. I hate to say it, but I kind of understand the inkling.
Yeah, of course. Every dude wants to clean. You want to, and like when you got a really, really hard stream going, fast stream going, then you're really living the stream, if you will. Right?
Yeah, this is the place to talk about what are you doing with the stream.
But by the way, Benny, who's been asking for fantasy football content, said, I'm a head out, man. FFS.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, Benny. Listen, I used to get like mad. I actually feel bad now when people find this show and they're like, "Dude, do I play Trey Benson?" You know, I'm
Yeah.
First
Part of
of
the
all,
problem is we started putting it on the late round fantasy football YouTube channel, and so
Yeah.
people get notified when they subscribe to the show to the
Oh,
channel. They get
oof.
notified when we're live, and then they're like, "What is this?"
yeah,
Guys, you can listen to the first 30 minutes of every Living the Stream if you want to, and just ignore the rest,
That's
and we
fine.
won't hate you for it. You know?
we're okay. We're good with that. I will say though, I've had parts of your audience, no one super mean or anything, but they've come to me and they've been like, "I love JJ's content except for what he does with you." I'm like, thanks. I mean, I'm a fan of JJ as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a show that's necessary, I think, to let loose a little bit, relax, and talk about getting poo off the side of the toilet as you're going to the bathroom. Look, if it's at your house, I think it's different. If it's your own poo, it's also different because
Man, that's actually a good point.
because that, like, the other thing is you do that stuff's spraying up and you don't know what's spraying up.
You don't. It's disgusting. Truly.
Yeah, it's really it's literally one of the grossest things that we can
But if it's yours, you probably do have a social responsibility.
Yeah, it's an obligation. Either that or you're getting down and you're scrubbing, you know?
Yeah. I actually think that's probably correct.
Also get more fiber in your diet if it's sticky like that, you know?
So I was gonna say there's something wrong.
Yeah, you got to get it checked out. You've got to, you know, I come from someone who's had plenty of GI issues in the past. There's reasons for, like, everyone should be, this is a for real statement. I don't know how people do not look at their stool after they go to the bathroom.
You got to look.
You have to look at you have to look, especially as you approach your 40s and there's, you know, colon cancer is more and more prevalent.
Absolutely.
You got to look. People who don't look are wild to me. How do you not look? I look at every single one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to inspect. You know, you
I
don't
get down on my knees, turn around, and
oh, stop! Oh God! But yeah, I mean, you got to just a glance. Okay, that looks okay. I'll flush. You know, but do people say they don't?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, doctors have talked about how people will go in and they don't look. Benny, listen. Benny has a trade that he did. Okay, and he's getting really tilted in the chat. We're going to do one thing. This is the only time we're going to do this. Okay. Benny had James Conner starting and Aaron Jones as a backup, both injured, so did not have any other running backs to start. Kyron Williams, RB1. I traded Josh Allen for Caleb, Mason, and Golden, and he wants to know if that's an okay trade.
Okay. Can you pull that up again?
Yeah. He traded Josh Allen for Caleb Williams, Jordan Mason, and Matthew Golden. Typically, I'm almost always going to side with the best player in the deal, and that's Josh Allen.
I don't think it's too bad. The thing, so Jordan Mason is an RB1 until Aaron Jones comes back.
Probably at least like a high end 2, you know, around that range. And then
it's over. So I feel like that was a little bit of a panic, but you know what? I believe in your potential as a fantasy football manager. You'll get through it.
Me too. I think Benny's one of the best listeners we've ever had on this show.
I think it's clear by now.
Yeah, personally. But back to the poop stuff. So
yeah, right. Let's get back to the important stuff, please.
Well, look, when it's a public restroom, you have no obligation. Okay, you have no obligation to do something like that.
No.
And in fact, I would be against that because you have no idea who laid that.
None.
No clue.
Oh, you want to know something gross? I was at a concert.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks ago, and it was at National Stadium, right? I don't even know what it's called, but so you know, I mean, the bathrooms in a concert, not great. I am using the urinal, and I'm finished. I'm washing my hands, and I see a dude come out of a stall, and he's holding 3 beers. So he has 3 beers in the stall with him while he's doing his business. And I'm just like, you're gonna go to your people now, and you're gonna crack these babies open and give them to them.
You can't bring open beers into a public restroom like that.
You can't. I don't think you should be bringing any beers into.
Well, sure, but like if you're at a bar and you got to go to the bathroom and you have a bottle,
Yeah,
are
what do
you like, I'm thinking about like college environment, I guess.
Yeah.
More
I
than
mean,
anything.
I would either leave it with the people I'm with.
You leave it
or-
with a friend, hypothetically, but not, I mean, if you're a single female, like, you know, then all of a sudden you're getting like, what are you supposed to do? You
Yeah,
know,
that's
like,
absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of myself, but, or you just crush it, you throw it away, you go pee.
I think you crush it and then you throw it away and you try to hold that pee until you can
Yeah.
go to the bathroom without a drink. And then while you're in the bathroom, maybe someone buys you a drink.
That's right. But
Yeah.
I just this guy walked out and I actually found myself like gawking at him, and I'm like, are you serious with these 3 beers coming out of the
Yeah. And he's gonna hand it to somebody and he's gonna say, this, I promise you that there's nothing bad in these, but spray has been going everywhere for the last 20 minutes.
fecal matter? I
Yeah.
mean, come on, man. I mean, look, this is what this show's about at its core, is
Yeah.
discussing these issues. So I hope folks don't mind that.
I mean, I used to always, I remember whenever, you know, I'm a teenager and we'd have like, you know, let's say soda. And we'd have it instead of cans in my basement or something, like people would pour it in a cup or something like that. And someone would let a juicy fart out. Right. I used to have this inclination to cover my drink because I couldn't get the fart particles into the drink. So if someone just let a rotten one go, I had to cover the drink. So none of that smell went in there, you know?
You know, honestly, it's probably a good idea.
Right. Probably smart at the end. I mean, my teenage hands probably weren't the cleanest in the world, but it's probably better than a fart going in there.
Right. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Benny subscribed.
Yeah, Benny's a fan for life now. Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Well, I think, you know what? I think we did some important work today.
We did. Denny, that's been an hour. It's time to say our goodbyes. Let everyone know where they can find you before we talk to them next week.
You can find me on Blue Sky. All my work is on rotoworld.com. You can listen to me twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, on the Roto World Football Show.
Find all my stuff over on lateround.com, on Twitter and Blue Sky, Late Round QB. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel to make sure that you're watching us live every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. This will hit the podcast feed, the Living the Stream podcast feed later today. And also subscribe to the Late Round podcast. Otherwise, everyone, Denny, let's get milkshakes. Let's just confuse listeners even more by referencing the milkshake stuff.
With no particles of any kind in them.
No, we're covering our drinks.
Covering them.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you for listening to Living the Stream. We hope you enjoyed the internet podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes now. It won't take long, it's fast. For more fantasy football info, check out
LateRound.com and Roto World.
Hope you come back soon as we share about the teams and as we live in the stream.